I'm Michael. I'm a statistician, a public health researcher, a bird nerd, and a book lover. I started keeping a spreadsheet of what I read in about 2006. We moved to Melbourne. I had lots of time and I was reading heaps and I wanted to just keep track. I have a terrible memory and I would often find myself borrowing the same book from the library twice. So I thought I'll keep a simple spreadsheet, title, author, fiction and non-fiction, and whether I liked it or not. At some point, not long after that, a few years down the road, I had a quite long and intense conversation with a friend who was quite rightly arguing that a lot of my reading was hugely gendered, that women's books were neglected. And so I immediately thought, well, I can check this data. I've got 4 years of records of everything I've read. I can go back and see just how skewed my reading statistics are. And so I added some columns to my spreadsheet. I added author's gender, where they were from, and started doing little basic analyses just to see. And of course, unsurprisingly, the first cut of the data showed how right my friend was, how incredibly biased my reading was. I was reading at best 25-30% books by women and lots of books by men from the USA. So it really gave me a wake-up call, a reminder that the kind of lists you find when you're trying to find new books to read are not unbiased. And I really started paying attention and started looking for books by women, and especially by Australian women, because I'd also noticed that I really wasn't reading many local books. And it wasn't long after I started paying attention that the Stella Prize burst onto the scene, and that really was sort of directed my reading, really was a great resource for me when I was trying this kind of making these efforts to be more thoughtful about my reading, to suddenly have this whole conversation about great books by Australian women every year. And so for the first year I read the whole long list. I still remember chasing them all down in bookstores and libraries and reading wonderful books like Romy Ash's Floundering that I would otherwise never have come across, and being kind of really grateful that this prize had kind of been started and was kind of helping change that conversation and helping me find books that were otherwise going to pass me by.